everything. I'm your host, Zach. Got Reviews Towers.
And I'm Kelsey. Don't read them, Darragh.
Absolutely not. You guys, we got some really funny reviews. Are you ready? Okay. Confidently Insecure. New reviews. Gold medal babes. 5 stars. Do yourself a favor and listen to Confidently Insecure. Kelsey and Zach will talk about everything and anything, all while being so real. Listening to them has helped me with my body positivity. And push me to be unapologetically myself. They are such inspirations while also being messy babes.
Wow, that is a great review.
That is from Lana Keefe in the United States.
The music's still playing. Do you mean that?
Yeah, why not? Give us a little background music.
Great, yeah.
This is my fave. Best Monday morning commute vibe check. 5 stars. There is little in this world I love more than screaming at Kelsey and Zach while stuck in DC area Monday morning traffic because they can't think of a word or explain something incorrectly. Sometimes I think y'all really do just need to Google it. Kisses, JF, MSW, United States.
We have limited internet. We can't be using it to Google things we should already know.
This 5G can't look up everything, you know? Also, I have a little
housekeeping
review. Wow. I think I just had a stroke.
We got a review?
We asked the audience. We polled the people from last week's episode.
Okay.
Where we... Zach already sounds offended.
Oh, is this about the reading thing?
Yeah, it's about the reading thing, Zach.
And I'll have you know, I do read. Not big books and not hard books, but I do read.
Soft books, flaccid books?
Yeah.
Nice. We asked the audience, is listening to an audiobook reading?
They're going to say yes.
Because Zachary said, now. Is it?
I don't even remember being that passionately no. I think I posed the question just like, is it?
You're just a little instigator, a little shit starter.
Because... yeah.
Here's the thing. The like responses were very funny, but the poll wasn't too bad. 74% of people said it's still book. 26% said no. It's because you're listening to it. So you weren't like totally wrong, but you weren't totally right. These are my favorite comments. Real bold for Zach, not a reader, to pass judgment here. Saying it doesn't count is ableist, so Zach is canceled.
I didn't. Oh, you know I am canceled. Didn't even cross my mind that books on tape were like giving people another chance to like enjoy them.
This one sounds sciencey. Listening to audiobooks activates the same parts of the brain as reading, so I'd say so. Reading versus listening is like being at a concert versus having music on in the background. Ooh, that sounded very pro your argument.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I do think there are ups and downs, and again, I feel like if we play back the tape, I just tossed out a thought.
No, I'm pretty sure you were like anti-reading.
No, I don't think so. I've never been anti-anything.
If that was true, this podcast wouldn't exist.
I'm Swiss as fuck
You're
in
Swiss
that
as
way.
cheese.
Yes, full of holes. Fill them up, baby.
Yummy.
I will say that the plus side of listening is that you get like sometimes inflection and like character sounds and like when you're reading you challenge yourself to kind of like fill in that stuff.
I would argue, and I posted this to my Instagram story, which is why I thought you just brought it up. I am currently listening to an audiobook where it's one of those books that you see it everywhere, like the cover. It's in every bookstore, it's at the airport, it's in Barnes and Noble. You're just like anywhere you go, it's on in front of your face. And I was like, I would never read this. It's called Midnight Feasts. And it looks really cool. It's like got a neon cover.
Why would you never read it?
Because it's like thrillery.
Okay.
It seems like YA thriller.
Okay.
Which is not really my steez.
Sure.
And
wait, what word did you just say?
My steez.
I've never heard that word. Is that a new word?
Like, don't step on my steez.
New word?
No.
Kelsey.
Don't Google it.
Steez?
Yeah, like my steez.
I don't think you know what you're saying.
I feel so confident that it is like
How's it spelled?
It's a shortening of something.
Okay.
It might be like
Stevens?
schmutz.
Kelsey.
Like
you're getting
my
way
steez.
off.
Now you're going to actually make me Google something on this
Of course.
podcast.
My stepping on my steez, and you think it's short for schmaltz?
You know my steez. It's slang.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping.
Yeah, he's got the steez. Always dressed to impress. It's like your aura, your good vibes. Don't step on my steez.
Never heard it.
Okay, well,
and it's not new.
No. Since the 90s. You look genuinely like mad at me.
Yeah, I am.
You look like the way that Zach is looking at me, you guys, I wish you could see. He's like,
Well, because you've never said that word in front of me.
100% I've said steez.
No. I know everything.
Roll the tape back. What the fuck was I even talking about, you fucking asshole?
Oh, you were saying how the book is not your 90s style.
Yeah. Fuck you. It's not my steez. So I saw that Spotify, if you have premium account, gives you 15 hours of free audiobook listening a month.
That almost seems cruel because then is an audiobook like 22 hours?
No, it's usually under 15, most of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so I pay for an Audible membership, which is I listen to one book a month. Bitch, tell me how I've been paying. And I understand some people are like, oh, it only gives you limited hours. I'm only listening to one audiobook a month.
Yeah.
I'm reading otherwise.
And I bet it might take you more than 1 month. So can't you just resume it after the next month?
Exactly. So I was like, you know what? I'm never going to buy this book, but it's free with my new Spotify listen.
And you love it.
All of the accents are fucking hot.
Wait. Oh. So it's told in different voices?
Yes, because this book is told from different point of views. It's like multiple characters. And so it's like diary entries almost from different characters. So there's like 6 of them and they're all either posh British, like deep inflection like this, or it's like a right Irishman. And I'm like, I can't pay attention. I'm horny.
You're horny.
Why were we talking about this?
Do books count as reading?
Yeah.
I do audiobooks count as reading. Does reading books count as reading?
Anyway, that's our housekeeping.
Wait,
What's
but
your
you actually
housekeeping?
love it?
Yeah, I love it because it's the accents. The story's so mid. I already know what's gonna happen. Wow. Yeah, it's just not for me. But I'm gonna finish it because of the accents.
Yeah. Housekeeping. Okay, so in dating world, I did that iconic thing where me and a hookup buddy decided to actually go on a date.
Mm-hmm.
And he stumbled into one of my biggest pet peeves.
Uh-oh.
Which is me texting to confirm only to be canceled on. And I cannot tell you, like, it actually doesn't make me that upset anymore, but because I know it's a trigger of mine.
I'm mad right now.
Yeah, but like, so the whole thing was we made a plan to get dinner last night, but we made the plan last week. And we were so excited. It's in the Cal. Can't wait to see how fun you are outside the bedroom. Like that was like yeah. And then yesterday, the day of the date, I was like...
The day of the date?
Well, because, and I did this on purpose, I waited until like 12:30 to be like...
What time was the date?
Well, it was just dinner.
Okay.
So I was really texting to be like, hey, dinner's still happening? Oh my gosh, my ADD has kept me from texting you, but I have a work meeting at like 4:45 in Santa Monica, so I'm not sure when I'll get back. And I just went, another time then, and just moved on. And he said something else cute or sweet, and then I just ignored it. Because I cannot stand the fact that I made a plan with you, I set aside time. In my head, it's still happening unless you cancel on me. And then for me to text you...
Because what would have happened?
Right.
You would have shown up and he wouldn't have been there.
Well,
I hate that he like kind of used his ADD against you because as soon as you said that, I went, oh shit. Yeah, that's happened to me before. But not for a fucking date. Did you send a cal invite or did you both just put them in your respective calendars?
Respective calendars. It wasn't that like this is the thing. And maybe okay, you're saying it's like too casual of a suggestion, but I was like, we picked a day, we picked dinner, and we knew what spot. It doesn't need reservations.
That's someone who doesn't respect you. I'm sorry.
I
they don't respect your time.
I agree. And that's how I interpret it. And that's how I internalize it.
Good.
And that's how I move forward. And
I'm mad too.
Literally, because this is the thing. I don't give guys a second chance to do that to me.
That's right, bitch.
So
that's fucking right. You heard that, bitch? You get one fucking chance with Zachary.
I'm too old.
I need a one dance.
What in the steez was that?
Oh, no. No. Here's the thing. That is fucking nuts, brother. I like that. Okay. I'm not trying to be homophobic.
But it's
But that's such a gay man thing to do. Like, I'm slutting and fucking and sucking, and I've got so many things. I can't be bothered to respect somebody's time for a date.
You think that's a gay guy thing or a guy thing?
Ooh, you just posed such a question.
Because I actually think that gay men have their shit together more than straight men. And I'm so sorry to our 2.5 straight listeners.
I don't know. Maybe, yes, in life they have their shit together more, 100%. I think sexually and relationship wise,
Yeah.
from what I've observed,
Yeah.
it just also makes me feel ick that person did that to you, because I'm like, he's so great, so like truly fuck him.
Oh, I do. Trust me.
Don't ever hook up with him again. Oh, messy.
Well,
fucking
no,
messy.
Because,
What?
But this is why I led with this is where I led with the iconic thing. Because it's like, wasn't there a Sex in the City plot line where she had great like sex with a guy and then she went on a date with him and it was like dull as
Probably.
fuck?
That sounds like a very
So it's just
easy.
like that thing. It's like maybe I was out of my steez.
No. No.
I'm okay. I steezed and he said, bless you.
I fucking hate you.
Okay, maybe I was out of my mind thinking that a hookup person had potential to be more than a hookup person.
But don't you get the ick now? Like, how are you going to catch a boner around this man?
Well, that's all I've ever done.
Fair. But I feel like I just don't respect him now.
Well, also, like my
he'd
sexual
have to make
activity,
a big grand gesture to get me
which
back in
he's
bed.
not gonna.
Do I know this person?
No. And you will never probably.
Good. I don't fucking want to, because I have a piece of my mind to give to him.
But this is the thing. I speak so highly of myself, and like shout out that person who's gained some body positivity since listening to us. I love myself so intensely. And it's like when people cancel on me, I get excited because the time goes back to me.
Oh, then you must love me.
I mean, maybe there's a reason we've lasted so long. But anyway, so with this guy, I'm just like, what a fool. What a fool.
But what? But like, you can now turn that off and then have sex with him again?
I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But what I was going to say is like, my sexual act can be like him coming over to eat my ass.
I don't know. I'm like, if you don't want to date me, why would you want to?
There's a lot of people that fall into that category for me.
Yeah, fair. I just think if I gave a guy a chance, like if a girl did that to me, I'd be devastated. If a guy did that to me, I'd be like, truly, fuck you.
Yeah, I guess that's the space I live in most of the time. And especially again, because we have hookup, where we exist in hookup culture. I'm just like, oh yeah, like that was a flop. But like, he can come over and like.
See, I think next time he texts you to like hook up, you ignore him for like 3 times.
And then be like, my ADD.
Yeah. Oh.
No, that's petty.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
It's so funny because obviously ADD is real. But people can push through it when they really care about something.
Exactly.
So isn't it a good barometer for how much you care about something?
And that's my point. If it was in the calendar, I live and die by that thing. And that's how we do it. That's how we thrive, these ADHDers and I.
Because that's the other thing. I think he's like 35 and like he has a good job. So I'm just like, And again, I have to say this out loud to anyone who is thinking about approaching me for a date or otherwise. If he had just been like, oh my God, I just got an in-person meeting scheduled. I know this sounds like I'm flaking. I'm really not. Could we get dessert? Or because this is the thing with canceling. If you don't immediately ask me for another option,
deuces, bitch.
Peace, bitch.
Bye. Because that's I'm saying. You are primo top sirloin. You let that shit thaw. You ain't gonna, you have to cook it soon.
Dude, my steez is sizzling hot. You gotta cook it soon?
I have no idea what it is.
I'm gonna go rancid on your ass.
Truly.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Fuck. That kind of, we have a fun subject to talk about today, but before we get to it, I wanted to see if you had heard about this topic that's kind of going vi on the Clock app. It's a lot of girls talking about it, but I think the gays could learn a thing or two about this. It's called going boy sober.
Like not hanging out with boys?
Like not dating. It's intentional.
Abstinence.
Yeah, it's intentional abstinence, but also like not letting them enter your brain to take up space.
Oh,
It's like
wow.
I'm trying to actually eliminate even the like desire to be around boys.
You know what this reminds me of?
Go
is
on.
the 7-day mental health diet. It's like a short audio pamphlet, if you will.
Oh, you listened to an audiobook? A pamphlet?
Audio pamphlet.
Interesting. Interesting.
But the whole concept is for 7 days, you dwell on only positive thoughts. So when you catch yourself thinking a negative thought, you boot it immediately.
Bye.
By saying like, oh, no, love is all around me. But if you catch yourself dwelling on a negative thought,
You have to start over.
you start over.
I think you told me about this,
Yeah.
and it seems impossible for me.
Well, I think the idea is you wind up doing it for probably like 42 days because you get to day 2 even and you reset. And then you know.
I do like the idea of trying to do that also with men.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Men are negative thoughts.
I've said this probably on this podcast a million times, but there was an episode of Girls back in the day. I know for the show and how annoying Lena Dunham is or whatever. It's like whatever. There was
I'll
some
go
good
on record
quotes.
saying I love that show and I love Lena Dunham.
Okay. Where she gave a quote that said
Wait, what's
something
your
like,
beef? Talking of rancid beef, what's your beef with Lena?
first of all, it's not rancid. It's just she's kind of a problematic white girl.
Really?
Yeah.
In what way?
She said some like callous things about men of color.
Oh.
And also defended a essayer who was a staff member of hers instead of believing the woman.
Oh.
And she also came out and was like, unfortunately, this is the one time, where the woman is just looking for attention and this man didn't do this thing and then it turned out he did. And people were like, ugh. And then there's this whole other thing about in her book, she like did certain things to her little sister.
Oh, I read that and I heard that scandal. I
kind of like
couldn't
whatever
take
on that one.
seriously.
Yeah, because girls they be exploring.
Well, and little kids
Yeah.
when you don't know what's going on.
Yeah. But those other things. Anyway, she did have a quote in her show once that I never forgot. That was like, I wish I could have back all the time in my head that I had spent on men that weren't worth it. And that like fucked me all the way up because I just thought about what else I would have done with that time. And I know I've said this before, but I truly, truly fucking mean it. And you better hold me accountable. Like, grab me by my neck, bitch. If me and the athlete break up, I am taking a break from dating. Why do you look at me like that?
Because I just I know too much.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I've never not known you with a dude.
Ew.
I just haven't. It's like you've made it your safe space, I think.
Ew. No. No.
In the arms of a man.
I hate that with such a passion.
I think what you've got going on right now is the healthiest thing
the
I've
healthiest
seen.
thing I've ever seen. And I think it also has a lot to do with the fact that I am not having sex a lot with this person because of my issues, and they also are rehabbing an injury.
Yeah.
So we've been building.
Do I know what your issues are?
Just all my vaginal things. Like I was doing
BV.
my BV, AV, DV,
DVD,
not DV,
Blu-ray.
DVD. I had to freeze my eggs. I couldn't
Blu-ray
have
is
sex.
a guy named Ray who's choking.
Stop.
On your vajayjay.
Goodbye. I was pregnant. I had an abortion. Couldn't have sex. Like there was just many months of things that prevented us from having intercourse. And then like when I was better, they had a injury and it's just prevented us
And
from.
then I walk in and you guys are both distracted by me.
And you're just so hot. But we'll talk about that actually. That's kind of the subject of this week's pod, but I'll get to that when we come back. Seen, I've tried opening this like 700 ways. Zach came in and brought me what's called an Awake, which is a peanut butter milk chocolate bite. And on the back, it says 1 bite equals half a cup of Joe.
So that thing, like that square of chocolate.
It's made of milk, peanuts, and soy ingredients. Where's the caffeine?
I don't know. It's in there too. Is caffeine an ingredient?
milk chocolate, peanut butter filling, roasted peanuts, hydrogenated palm kernel oil, caffeine and vegetable oil. But it's been sitting in my lap and I really want to try it. Can I take a bite? Can we do a live?
I can vamp even.
Is it a shape of a D? What happened to it?
It's a owl.
Okay.
But you've been fingering it and making it all. It's good.
You had one?
Huh?
You liked it?
Yeah.
It kind of tastes like a Butterfinger.
I mean, because it's chocolate and peanut butter tasting.
Yeah. Half a bite?
No.
One bite is half a cup of coffee.
The thing is a bite.
Oh.
There you go. Down the hatch.
You know what? It's good.
Yeah.
But when I want caffeine, I want it for breakfast.
Yeah.
And I don't think I want chocolate for breakfast.
I honestly think it's ideal for a post-lunch or
a 2 p.m.er.
Well, because it's a dessert item that also has a little bit of caffeine. I also like the idea of chewing caffeine. I don't think of that. You know? I drink caffeine. I don't think about chewing it.
People who do marathons, they chew on it with that jelly shit. Yeah.
Oh, I had another thought about dating, but I can't remember what it was.
That's like most of your thoughts.
Yeah, they are. Well, I feel like so much of life boils down to sex and dating and relationships.
I'm so glad. You just like teed me up.
Nice.
Okay, here's my question. I do pose. I probe you. Something's going on today. What would you do, Zachary, yourself today, right now, if you couldn't have sex?
Kill myself? I'm sorry, unalive myself. No, I mean, okay, so I think about this a lot. Like, I do kind of wish there was an on or off switch where I could stop thinking about boys or sex or, like, again, relationships almost. I wish I could go into, like, robot mode where I'm just like, get the project out of your head, because I do find myself
Horny.
I mean, is it horny or is it just like a mental obsession that I, let enter my mind?
Well, because gay men exist, I do believe you guys have some higher sex drive going on for sure.
It's just, I think we do, dudes like sex.
Yeah.
And like it's so easy to have it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, but you like,
I'm a big old slut.
You jerk off and stuff.
Oh my God, every day.
I don't every day. No.
Wow.
I'll go like 3 days without doing it.
Are
Maybe
you just
more.
like rage bonering everywhere?
No, not really. Not really.
Wow. If I don't, I literally won't be able to get things done.
What I've found more for me is the I don't want to call myself an addict.
Well,
I am an addict and I do things addictively, but like my whole thing is like the kind of like the flirting, the seeking, the matching,
the game,
the messaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's little bumps
of serotonin.
Yeah. So like for me it's like
Yeah.
like there's a guy in your neighborhood that we message almost every time I'm over here, and I think he has a house and a backyard, and he's like, you should come blow me sometime in my backyard. I'm like, yeah, that's so hot. It hasn't happened, but like we always make contact.
I think I know who it is, but we'll talk offline about it.
Okay.
So I ask, what would you do if you couldn't have sex anymore?
Oh, I think I'd be the most productive person.
Oh, so it would be a net positive.
Well, what is productivity positivity?
Oh, babes.
Yeah,
you just posed a huge American conundrum.
Because you came from a capitalistic side of things, and I caught you right by the fucking nape.
Ooh, that sounds hot.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about this. I think we had a dating no filter question written in that I didn't answer last episode because I thought it would be interesting to do a whole episode on it. Mm-hmm. But I do think that and I can't believe I've never had this conversation on the podcast, which is crazy for how long we've been doing this and had conversations about sex and dating. But there are a lot of people that we don't like acknowledge that can't have traditional penetrative sex, whether it's gay sex or straight sex, that there's either emotional or physical preventions. So like what I was thinking about initially was people with chronic pain, right? Like whether it's like me with TN or like something that's actually to do with your sex organs, like vaginismus or
Vaginismus sounds like a character in Game of Thrones.
Could be. Or like a fibromyalgia, like an energy thing, disability, like there's tons, or trauma, people with past traumas. Like I assumed everyone was either having it or not, and I never considered like the reasons why until
Sure.
I had more conversations examining my own healthily relationship of how I was using sex as like a way to create intimacy when it wasn't always the healthiest thing. Like that was my entire relationship with Sir, was mourning him, was actually mourning that intimate connection.
Yeah.
And had we not been having sex, I would not have been with him easily.
Wow.
Easily. Easiest thing I've ever said.
Yeah.
And with the person I'm with now, I feel like I've gone back and forth in feeling like, am I doing this right? Or am I missing this thing? And I just feel like, I don't know, we've never given space to like have a conversation about people that can't have sex and like what that means. So I looked up a couple of like little tidbits to just talk about that in general. So there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score. Everyone knows it. That talks about the connection between the mind and body being highlighted, reminding us that intimacy is as much about emotional connection and trust as it is about physical sensation. So the same is also with Come As You Are and She Comes First. It talks a lot about like emotional connection. And we don't think about people with emotional barriers, whether it's like trauma or depression or anxiety, that need to find new ways to deepen those emotional responses. Specifically Roxane Gay, who I'm going through her first book, Bad Feminist, right now. She wrote a book called Hunger. She dives into the complexity of how trauma and body image intersect with sexual identity, which I think we're also both pretty privileged in. Like we haven't really thought about, like, I don't know,
Not
you're in a
feeling
world
connected with my body or
Yeah.
my mind or whatever.
like you have the toxic gay CrossFit like body image people in that world, and I also have like the toxic what a female should look like world, but
Yeah.
I think we fit into it enough
totally,
to where we don't think about it. So she talks about
we have like thin privilege. Or
Yeah.
like white, obviously
white privilege, and ableist privilege.
able privilege, and like cis privilege.
Yep. We have a lot.
A lot of in the Venn diagram of like what society deems
Acceptable sexual
We have
partners.
a lot of the
Yeah.
overlapping.
And it's those blue eyes. So Roxane Gay talks about being, how do I say this word? GR'd at a young age. Don't say it out loud
Why not?
because we'll get demonetized.
Gong ropped.
Yes. And how that experience shaped her relationship with her body and by extension, her understanding of sexual intimacy. In the book, she details her emotional and physical responses to sex, discussing how the trauma of her past manifests in a disconnect from her body and its desires.
Of course.
And I don't think you have to be gong ropped to have that disconnection, but that's just like a very extreme example. I think if you even have a self-consciousness of a part of your body, right? Like I know a lot of vagina owners have like
Smell.
They worry about the smell of a vagina, which vaginas smell like vagina, and if you can't be around that, maybe you shouldn't be
And
around
how
a
much
vagina.
like exposed it is
Yes, like
versus tucked in.
labia
Majora.
dysmorphia.
Oh.
Like-
Also sounds like an X-Men. Labia dysmorphia.
Here to ruin the planet.
Yeah.
Where essentially you view your body as pain instead of pleasure.
Of course. Or you're absolutely disconnected.
Yes.
Because you're hyper focused on what do my lips look like right now.
Same with even like when I think about like people who might feel that way around another person, but think if you felt that when you were by yourself too. Like that
Oh
should
my
be the
God.
safest, theoretically safest space to honor your pleasure needs and desires. And I experienced this a little bit when I was going through that really long withdrawal of being unable to have alone time for that like period of 6 months to 8 months or so when it was taking me like 45 fucking minutes.
To Kerm.
Yeah. And that was hell
Oh, wait. That
on
is
earth.
Wait, wasn't that because of a medication?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Also, I see this represented, and I think about this often. Have you ever been with a guy who has to like aggressively beat to get there? And I'm like,
I was talking about this with the athlete yesterday. He's like, wait, that happens to guys?
But this is the thing. Is it like that when we're not in the room? Or are they like gentler and easier to...
No, I have been with a couple that have that, and they attribute it to A, being circumcised, to having less feeling, B, jerking off way too hard starting from a young age.
Oh, I believe that one.
So
I don't really believe the circumcision one. Because how would they know?
Well, there was that doc that went around that kind of like straight men were having a hard time watching because they felt like they were robbed of some sort of...
I do feel robbed.
Yeah.
I put up missing posters for my foreskin every weekend. And no, the phone is yet to ring.
What if someone did call and was like, I found it. I peeled it off the side of the street.
Stop. It was turning tricks.
Stop. In West Hollywood.
Yeah. Oh, we were
home.
We were so close.
We can't come home.
I passed him on the street a million times.
Yeah. You wouldn't recognize him. He's different.
He's got a neck tattoo.
He's super tan. What's wrong with us? So yes, Journey suggests that healing from trauma doesn't always have to exclude sexual or emotional intimacy, but may involve finding new, safer, more fulfilling ways to engage with oneself and others. So it just like made, like you joked that one time, anything we talk about on this podcast is currently something I'm going through, but it kind of is, because part of me is like, oh, I should be having sex like this or for this amount of times a week, or like all of these limitations that aren't real. They are self-inflicted or societally imposed. And also, even if there wasn't that, some people don't have that privilege of being able to do that whenever they want. So what other options have they created to make it safer for them, whether emotional or physical?
I mean, there's a lot of different paths this could go down depending on what the quote unquote issue is.
Yeah.
I will say I think about this often with, this is not the same thing, but same different, but like married couples where sex has become a nil, a nil like priority.
Yeah.
Like, and I did talk to a married couple once, and they were like, sex has just become another room in the house.
Whoa.
So it's like you have this house and all these rooms, and like one's like kids, one's relationship, one's work, one's like future. And like it just becomes another room in the house. And like I think some people would maybe give it a smaller and smaller room.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
just like turn their bedroom into an office.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, I've taken the room that used to take up sex and made it a different thing.
I think it's also the first time in my life where I'm not actively going to sex parties right now, because honestly, been busy, and B, it hasn't sounded more fun than being at home with the athlete, which is like a sentence I never
sex
thought I'd
party
say.
for two.
Yeah, but I definitely miss, like being with women is something it's been a while. I mean, this might be the longest it's been. God.
Oh, and it's been 8 days.
It's been so long. I'm forgetting what they look like. I can't look in the mirror without getting wet. And there's something, I think I'm afraid that if I don't use it, I lose it situation.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
God, well, yeah, you toss in mortality as well. You're like, I'm just getting older.
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be cool to see my 82-year-old
dingling
titas hanging down?
Mine will look exactly the same.
At the Souk's party?
I'm so flat-chested.
Hey.
I like it that way.
That's accurate.
Yes. And so I say to that.
I love what Leo's doing right now.
He's laying like an alligator on you.
Well, he's like really like laying on me.
Yeah.
Like his face and everything.
He's been baby lately. Yeah, so there's like other ways that I've had to have sex, right? Like what even is sex? It doesn't mean P and V. Like obviously, thank you lesbians for creating a whole world of what sex can look like.
Sure.
So there's all of that stuff, but then like there's also like spiritual sex, I think I've talked about before.
Sure.
Where it's like breathing exercises with the person. and like
Will
words of affirmation.
Smith and Jada used to like pray together.
Yeah.
And like I actually, you know what's so funny? One time I went to a Grindr hookup and he was like kind of an older guy. I was in my 20s, he was in his 40s. And he was kind of like a yogi type.
Yeah.
And he was like, we were like fully naked at this point, and he was like, can we just like meditate together for a minute?
Yes.
And we sat cross-legged, naked,
Yes.
staring into each other's eyes.
Correct.
And I think he like cried.
I want to laugh, but I've 100% done that.
Yeah. And that man was Kelsey.
Honestly, that shit can get fucking hot.
I mean, talk about, and I will say, like, there are so many times I've been brought to O-Town based on
Great band from the 90s, the Stees.
my liquid dreams. Based on my thoughts with like this guy and feeling connected and then being like, oh, like this is what God wants.
Yeah. Yes. Honestly, like being in a room with someone and not having sex almost to me has been experiences that I can look at and be like, that was more orgasmic than the actual
More
sex.
fulfilling. Just like how I can really get into, again, like foreplay stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we are too penetration minded. We're too orgasm minded. That's sex. If it's not that, it's not successful.
Which
and
is
then
so
you're in
not
your
true.
head and like, you know, if you miss the window sometimes, you have to be like, oh, it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? It's just like, and I will say that when I hook up with younger guys, they are less focused on
That's good.
finishing.
I will say I made a promise to myself after Sir that I was never going to I made this a long time ago, but like fake an orgasm, I was done. But I just had to like reiterate that to myself after
Because you
Sir.
were having real ones with him?
I was having real ones for a very long time, but I think it's a nice reminder that there's not like this performative nature that needs to happen every time.
But was it mid-experience with him that you decided this, or is it because of him?
No, I think because of him, it was a nice reminder again to just be like, oh yeah, I need to double down on like not
Genuine.
performing. Yeah. So there was that. And then there was also like it's not everything. It's like a chemical connection with someone. And like what is deeper than that, I think is emotional. And sometimes like the athlete and I have done it where we'll like sit cross-legged naked and like answer really deep questions about life while like music's on and we're like touching and
you're like deeper.
Yeah, I'm like go
Deeper,
trauma
harder.
little T to big T.
Harder question. Ask me what the square root of 76
Oh,
is.
I'm out. I'm dry as a bone. I can't do math and you know this. But I was thinking, I was like, oh, I don't know if I could ask you this question because I don't know if you've had to practice it, but like if you couldn't have physical sex with someone in the traditional sense, like what is something you might do if someone who's listening to this who falls under our category of what we've been talking about, like how, especially if it's something they might be like embarrassed or shameful about, could they approach new partners with to pose the idea? Because we got a lot of queer people that listen to this too.
So wait, your question is a person who does want to engage in some form of sex, but cannot do that in typical form. Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough conversation to broach, especially in the beginning, because it's like, oh, if you put that on a profile, it might like not scare people away, but it might be too much too fast
For somebody who doesn't have that desire.
But like, I guess I would harp on at the beginning being like really looking to get to know someone. I have to feel safe and connected. So if you're looking for a hookup, keep swiping.
Yeah.
And then like you just have to feel it out with like the person and
But
like
can you do a hookup
and
that
not,
way? Like, would you be weirded out if a guy grindered you being like, would you come over and meditate naked with me and we like give each other words of affirmation?
Oh, so yes, and I experienced this, and I'll be very honest. There are guys on Grindr who are like just looking to cuddle. Like,
yeah.
And so that's kind of what we're talking about, right? I do find that very unnerving.
Because you don't want that intimacy with a stranger.
I can't guarantee we'll have it. And then I just feel awkward once having met this person and then being held by them. And I'm like waiting for it to be over or waiting for a moment to say like, this is not a match.
Not for you.
So it's like, but I tell them that with sex too. Like I need to be in the same room with you before I can guarantee
that there's
anything.
a connection.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's good.
so like I do think some people there are people out there for you
Yeah.
who are into just cuddling or maybe like parallel play or, you know, light touching.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of be up. And this is what I used to say about queer men or like grinder users.
Yeah.
There are lots of keywords you can put.
Yes.
There are tribes. Like you can literally put, I don't know if we use the word tribes anymore.
I
They
don't
used
think we
to.
do, but they do. It was still in some sexual.
But like you can use
fashions.
categories and stuff.
Yeah.
And like literally Grindr has made it so, shout out Grindr, you can put spanking, and if you click spanking, it'll show you other people who have clicked spanking.
Okay.
So you could be like cuddling and click
And
cuddling.
I do think there's also a world, and this is coming from experience, where you don't even like. I think when we think of non-penetrative sex, we think of something that's like very intimate and like slow and touchy. I think there's also like pretty dirty, nasty, quick ways to also have non-penetrative hookups where it's like
1,000,000%.
you don't have to be like lighting a candle and be like, "What's your mom like?" Like you can literally fucking slap it in the corner and make
Totally.
someone like
Or there's, like,
degrade you
looking
or
to watch.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. One time a guy came over and he gave me a blowjob and it ended on his face.
Uh-huh.
And
Just
he just
whoopsies.
walked out.
Full face?
Yeah.
Like a mask? Like a skin mask? Or even just like a superhero mask.
Like a goopy mask.
What did he was he driving?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. No, he lived in the neighborhood walking.
Thank God.
Well, I just thought it was I was like,
That's hot.
no, maybe it's hot in retrospect, but at the time I was
Appalled.
capital H horrified. And that I guess is
I'd
me
be
kink
like,
shaming. But I'm
where
like,
are you going with
well,
my
this is
DNA?
the thing. It wasn't discussed. And so for me to be in that post-O state and then be like, what?
Again, what are you going to do with all of that?
I mean,
Maybe he like scrapes off, puts it in his freezer, uses it as like a face mask later. You know what I mean?
or plants it at the scene of a crime.
Maybe. Honestly, I'd be worried if I was you. I can't believe you did that. Good for you, though.
I didn't do anything, Kelsey.
If a man tried to run out with my cum all over his face, I would grab him by the fucking neck and slap it off of him.
I would
Give me that back.
I hope it happens to you one day, and I get to see how you react because
Manifesting
you're going to
for
be
that.
shocked.
Yeah, well, hopefully my Ring camera will catch it. I felt like that was good advice.
I thought it was great advice.
I mean, like, I want you to write in if this falls under something you've gone through, been through, are going through.
Oh, and I will just say, like, if you're listening and you are struggling in this department, just know that, like, massive failure is part of the sex and dating
No matter
sphere.
where you are.
No matter how hot you are,
Yeah.
how able-bodied you are.
Yeah.
Putting yourself out there, especially nakedly or semi-nakedly, is of the most vulnerable position you'll ever
Yes.
be in, and expect to feel uncomfortable at many points.
And unsubscribe from the idea of like what it should be looking like, right?
That really scared me. Don't unsubscribe.
Oh, don't unsubscribe
from
for us. Why would I ever say that?
I
In
know,
fact,
it's like-
subscribe and write us a 5-star
Yeah.
review. We'll read it out on the podcast.
Yes, please.
Any shows to promote?
Oh my God, yes. I'm about to go on tour. I am performing in San Francisco.
Yes.
Sacramento.
Yes.
Atlanta.
Oh my God.
Omaha.
What?
Kansas City.
Holy shit.
St. Louis.
Zach.
And then I'm opening for Bob the Drag Queen in like 8 other cities.
Holy fuck. You
So
stay busy.
I'm goring. And I'm doing Rehoboth Bear Week.
What's that?
It's like a bear weekend
Okay.
in Rehoboth, Delaware.
Oh, see, that was the word I didn't
Oh,
understand.
Rehoboth. It's like a beach town.
Cute.
But that's next Saturday.
I'm doing a show at the Pitbull Coalition's fundraiser in Los Angeles in October.
But your showcase is
September 26th?
at
I don't remember.
either Haha Cafe or Comedy
Yeah.
Chateau. If you're in LA, come see Kelsey
Yeah.
perform with all of her peers.
I'm making Zach go.
Oh, I've been begging to go.
I can't wait.
Yay!
Yay! Okay, we'll see you later, Confident Bottoms. Bye.